Alright, so I figured we could do some painting today, everyone. I have yet to paint here in 2024, so now's as good a time as any, I figure. And what are we going to paint? I explained earlier that I received these paints from Cult Heavy Industry. Do I have their business card? I feel like I might have their business card somewhere. Cult Heavy Industry. Sorry, not Cult Heavy Industries. Goblinshut. They're the distributors of Dirty Down FX paints. Some of you might recall that I used Dirty Down FX paint moss for the Laputa project. But the distributor sent me Rust and Verdigris to try out. And I think that will be very fun. $25 and Twitch 24 and 26. Rah! Yeah, Verdigris and Rust. And I've not tried these. I hear they're very good. Some folks even say that they're better than the moss. The moss is right here. So we shall see. Yeah, we painting. We painting. Let's get our tools required for painting. Let's get a... Let's get... This thing is really messy, guys. My apologies. Notslide. How's it going, Notslide? Notslide here is experienced with the Verdigris and the Rust and the Dirty Down stuff. That Dirty Down. The dirty. And you know what here? This is a little bit of a throwback, guys. But how about we'd attempt to use the Verdigris on this? Verdigris is a patina that expresses itself over time when bronze and brass oxidize. This model here has like copper or bronze like plates, so I figured that's a good opportunity to try this stuff out. This is a model that I had painted in the earliest days of my streaming life, streaming on Twitch, some miniatures, and I still like this model quite a bit. Down bad paint, yeah. So let's try. And I feel like it should go pretty well, but at the same time I'm not too worried about like anything happening to this. Yeah, because you know, whatever, I took photos already, it's all good. I'm just kind of brushing away any extra dust that might have accumulated, but I do have this in a hold on, in a display case. Golden Demon. You know what? I want to buy a Warhammer model just to paint to a high level. But I don't know what to paint. I haven't decided what to paint. Okay, so we've got this Verdigris. It's actually been warming up in my pocket. I've got some Dirty Down in my pocket because people have recommended to have it warmed, like warmed up by your body warmth or something like that. And we're going to continue to mix this because that's the main thing that is also recommended is to mix this a lot. There is a ball bearing in here, and some people might not even realize that just because it's so embedded in the muck that it might not even really be noticed if you don't shake it up a lot. That's the thing that, again, I keep on hearing is shaking this thing a lot. I'm using the Display paint mixer to get this moving, to get this rolling. Dirty Down in my pocket. So let's keep shaking it. I've got the other Dirty Down, which I need to shake as well here. Let's get that going. Got two things going because we're going to use the Rust on a different model. I'll show you guys. You know what? I was saying previously that our quote guy hasn't been around, so I've had to resort to quoting things myself. But nice to have you here, Arch. Let's get you 5 minutes on that. Oh, we could have done 10 anyways. Alright. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, there's so many so many awesome... And I'm trying to pick my spots. I'm not trying to place it everywhere on the model. Loves his moss. Already radioactive. Dirty Down Rust are goated. Yeah, yeah. So I had bought the moss first, and the store guy and other people had mentioned that the moss is not as good as the rust or the verdigris, and I'm seeing it real time, seeing it with my own two eyes. Ba, ba, ba. Unfortunately, I wouldn't have much reason to use this particular color on a Gundam. I mean, I don't think so. Using like a verdigris, unless I had a Gundam, you know, like the story would be like it's all rusted and crusty kind of thing, which, you know, obviously I'm about that life. Again? Ba, ba, ba. Mardi Gras! That's so cool, Carmi. Can you describe what a Mardi Gras ball is like? I've seen pictures. I have a vague notion of beads being involved, a lot of partying. I mean, is that the extent of it? Yeah, I don't really know. And this is something that only happens in like New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay. Oh my. Spikeless went to the local manga store Saturday to check out the Gunpla had arrived already, and the person I was with spent a solid 20 minutes talking about Warhammer and the paints with people in the Warhammer corner. Yeah, some money will be spent. That is the way of Warhammer, is that money gets spent. Carmigra. Okay, so let's take a quick look at what has happened with the verdigris. And you can see the spots that I've placed it. It's kind of like tinted some parts green, but there's actually quite a bit of variation within the green, which is really neat. Very cool. And that happened almost immediately after applying it. And so now what they suggest is that you take a moistened brush and you kind of feather it out, and that kind of creates a more... That creates like a more realistic kind of look. So we're gonna go try that. But yeah, I'm very impressed with this already. Like it just sort of works as expected, I guess. And I'm sure that if you practiced with this, you could get even better results. But even just now, for someone that just is using this for the first time, straight out the bottle, very nice, very nice. So yeah, now we're kind of taking the what was already there, and we're kind of just finding those edges and spreading them out a bit to soften it so that it's not like as highly concentrated, I guess, is one way to phrase it. Perhaps a Q-tip might do a good job as well. Okay, so Carmi's explaining. It's a bit of a social gathering, also a ceremony to present this year's queen and king. The queen is a lady coming of age, 16 plus, and the king is a long-standing member of the community, an old guy. Oh, interesting. Interesting. An old guy. An old guy. No, I had no idea there was a whole aspect to that whole king and queen situation. Interesting. Nowhere near close to royalty. Yeah, I mean, all I know is that there's parties and then there's beads. And you can throw beads at someone. Is that the one? That's the one I'm thinking of, right, Carmi? You throw beads and you say, "Show me your boobs." Have I got a completely different festival in mind? Am I barking up the wrong tree here? Okay, so now that we've kind of softened it out, it's not like as heavy, but I think what I'll do is go back. Oh, I really like what's happening over here, actually. Over here. Some good stuff. Some good stuff. Yeah, I actually thought that this model would be a good subject to try this on, but it doesn't have that much brass on it. I thought... Now I want to find a model with more brass. I mean, like I said, it's a social status, inner circle sort of thing. To even qualify. Okay, okay. But, okay, so that, it's Mardi Gras, but that's the parade. And the ball is more formal. Okay. Okay. Okay, I want to go to the parade. The one where you... That's the one I want to go to. Okay, let's apply a bit more of this, and then we'll try out the rust. Yeah, hook me up with the informal one. Alright. Alright. All social standings. I had no idea. So Carmi is of high social standing? Is this what I'm understanding? This is the takeaway lesson? Okay. Very interesting stuff. One thing about this is that the consistency of it is almost like maple syrup. It's almost like you're pouring and painting with maple syrup or sugar syrup or something like that, corn syrup. And it dries really fast. Like I find that a lot of it is drying on my brush, which is different. I'm not really used to that something would dry so quickly on the brush before it even gets to the model itself. And in the past, what I had done was like put some on a wet palette and then work from that. But this time around, I'm kind of more directly just applying it straight out of the pot onto the brush and then onto the model. And yeah, I'm digging what's happening here. And then as they instruct, you gotta kind of soften it out. But yeah, once we're done with this, guys, we'll probably get to some building related to someone that is of high social standing. Understood. High social... That's very interesting, though. I feel like I would do very poorly in like a super formal social event. Already when I have to go to weddings and shit like that, I'm just like, oh god. Yeah, I would feel kind of awkward, to be honest. Alright, so now, here we go. We're going to kind of feather this. One Iron Chef Japan, yes. Was the food good? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, over here on the shoulders, I love what's happening. And on the shoulders, I did like I glooped on a lot, and then kind of went back and brushed it away. Let's gloop on a bit more somewhere else and see how we like that. I feel like I'm still like experimenting with this product, even though I had used quite a bit of it, the moss that is, previously. I'm still kind of learning the ins and outs of this product, so it's good. It's good practice. I actually saw that they have a new thing, which is snow, and it's a spray paint. So the idea is that you just like spray this stuff from like a height, from like above, and then the snow effects will, because you're spraying from above, will only land on the raised parts like real snow would, right? And that's pretty cool. Yeah, and the other interesting thing about this product is that I'm not sure what came first, but it's used in Hollywood. It's used in movie, film, and TV production. For costumes, set design, objects like props. I was like, what are they called? Objects, props, all sorts of stuff. Just because, yeah, it's a really great product for that too. So that's kind of neat. I've been looking into snow. There's a lot of different snow products out there, so you could look it up. It's Dirty Down Snow. It's probably going to be a little pricey, not going to lie. But there's there's the Citadel Snow, and Vallejo and a bunch of other companies. They do snow effects. Darling Desu, how's it going, Darling Desu? Good stream yesterday and the other day. Chill vibes, hanging out, revealing body. To be fair, we're all skeletons. We all have skeletons inside of us. It's the one common denominator. We might come from different places. We might have different colored skin. We might speak different languages. But I assure you, we all have skeletons. So yeah, I've applied the Dirty Down Verdigris, and it's looking pretty cool. We're all pink on the inside. We're all just nervous systems, a brain squid piloting a flesh mecha suit. That's all we are. Yes, very good, very good. Bio Gundam. I would watch Bio Gundam. Yeah, how's it going, Keenan? Nice to see you here. Some people are boneless? Some chicken comes boneless. I'm opposed to boneless chicken. How's it going, Keenan? How's it going, Darling Desu? How's it going, everyone? Dirty down in your pocket. Thank you for that biddy. Some dirty down biddies. Quotable. There you go, guys. Wow, we got a lot of quotables here. Dirty down, rusty, heated thighs. Whoops. And a vibrator. Yeah, it's Thirsty Mondays. It's Spicy Mondays. For some reason, directly after the weekend, everyone is super horny. The chat is super horny. Not me, of course. You guys are just reading into things. But yeah, welcome to Horny Mondays. Moist Mondays, oh dear. Here, let's do some shoutouts before we start painting. Let's, this vibrator. Let's get this vibrating. Alright, do some shoutouts. Shout out to Carby, who may or may not be a part of a secret society. We don't know. She might be living midsummer in Louisiana. We got Bacon. Wait, has Bacon made his presence known? Anyways, we'll shout out Bacon. He might be lurking. That's cool. You can lurk. Lurking is the backbone of Twitch.tv. We got Arch. Arch is also gone. Presently. Self-improving. Trying to better his life. As an artist, drawing cubes. And I've been there. Alright. Alright, so I think that's sufficient amount of shaking here. Let's do a little extra shaky. But I'll show you guys what the plan is. Let's apply some of this dirty down rust to this already rusty and crusty Haro. This is a model that I painted last year, I think? No, probably the year before. And I already applied some rust effects and chipping, but that was using paint. So maybe we'll use this effects paint. I mean, it's still paint, but it's just a different kind of paint. We'll use that and see how that works out. Did you finish your model, by the way, darling Desu? Just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. You should try. You should try. Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure if you were asking to see the texture, but here you can have a little zoomy of the model. For me, this is a new playlist. It's a Katamari playlist. Oh, you're saying that you can. Here we go. Oh yes, I remember Darling Dusty was saying not a big fan of weathering and stuff. Not too much, at least. Okay, so let's try. Let's actually apply too much. That being said, let's apply too much. Quite possibly, because this is my first time using it. Oh, you're saying that you can. I understand. But yeah, I was going to say, for me, sometimes when it comes to working and painting on models, building models, painting models, it can feel a little like a grind, and sometimes I don't want to do it. But the thought of, like, the feeling of satisfaction, that's like one of those main driving things for me, is that feeling of satisfaction when I'm done. I like to keep that in mind. And sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's like enough to see it through. I like to envision the feeling of being done. So yeah, we're applying this, and then what happens is we kind of like stump. I believe it's called stumping. We kind of like stump the effects with a moist brush to kind of soften it out. That's the concept, at least. That is the concept. Arch, I see it sounds very Vanilla! Oh yeah, it sounds kind of vanilla inspired. It's vanilla pilled. Like the journey, not the destination. I gotcha, I gotcha. Yeah, it was actually really cool seeing you work on that model and going to the store to build it at the hobby night. As I said on your stream, they do have things like that over here, but I've never been to one. For one thing, I don't live too close to it. I call it my local store, but it's not really that local. But yeah, that's one thing, is that it's just like really, it's a bit of a journey to get there for me. But seeing you build and hanging out, it seemed really chill. It seemed really chill. It kind of got me thinking that I'd like to try and head out to one at some point. I get nervous too, working with translucent parts, to be completely honest. And I worked on a kit with quite a bit of translucent parts just not too long ago, and it went fine. For all my worries, it actually turned out fine, so take heart. I think you can do it. I believe in you. Okay, we're just kind of slopping on some just to see what that's like as well. So now let's take a wet brush. What is the destination's KBBQ? Going to more? I need my monthly dose of social interaction for health reasons, yes. It was nice. Super accommodating. And you got free donuts. That's the main thing for me. That's the main selling point for me. Free food. Sign me up. Sign me up. Okay. That feels like a lot. Let's brush away. Oh yeah, so you're still getting over your cold. Is it still really bad for you, Vanilla, or is it like not as bad? So the concept of stumping, I want to say it's stumping, but it could be called stamping, is like you take a moistened brush, a separate moistened brush, and you kind of use that to soften everything that you've applied, as I'm doing now. Ba, 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 ba. Full-fledged flu? Oh no! Sweet fever dreams? Epo's denied entry for what's been described as a moss attack. Moss attack. Massive! Alright. So right now I would say that that's pretty subtle. And we can kind of go back. Well. Oh my gosh. It's the best part of falling sick. Spikeless, oh lord, the white underneath the translucent pink. That looks killer. Oh shit. So yeah, this stuff is partially, what's the term? What does it say? Semi-permanent. It's actually semi-permanent, and so it reactivates with water, as you're going to see. So I think if you give it enough time, it will kind of set and dry, but if you, you know, kind of apply some water to it soon after, it does reactivate, and you can kind of move it around as I've been doing. Pikachu model and build with the... Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely can. Come to Ottawa. kind of pushing around the paint now. Yeah, this stuff is pretty aggressive compared to most paints that I use. I typically use acrylic paint, which is non-toxic. This stuff is considerably more aggressive, but you know, just got to be careful. Don't lick the brush. I like doing these downward streaks, you know, pulling it down. Sometimes where I've kind of accumulated a lot more of the effect paint, I pull it up back into like that concentrated area close to the source of the rust, you know, where the metal is exposed, you know, the darker, you know, black or gray coating or undercoat, and then you just kind of keep on doing that. Sometimes I'm dragging it down, as you can see, and then sometimes I'm pushing it back up into that source, the source of the rust. Yeah, stippling would be a good strat too. Or if you have a fairly beat up brush, you can kind of rely on the brush's roughed up bristles to kind of help you along there. But I think the name of the game is to just do a little bit at a time. That's the thing that I've kind of settled upon when it comes to using stuff like this, is I do a little bit at a time. I look at it and I gauge it, and then I add a little more. Because the mistake is doing too much. If you kind of do too much, it's harder to take it back. Although this stuff, as I said, is semi-permanent, so you can take it back a little bit. Yeah, sponge even, and I did use a sponge, as a matter of fact, for the Lapita model. But I'm kind of keeping that center focal point of the face like pretty undisturbed, and that kind of helps create like a sense of focus. A lot of the rust is kind of like around this center part and the eyes, and we're not doing too much close to the eyes, and that's just a way of kind of creating a sense of focus. Yeah, you can use anything. You can use brushes, sponges, Q-tips. I've seen Q-tips recommended. Yeah, we might go in with like a roughed up brush and do some stippling too. There you go. So actually, I feel like I haven't changed too much of what was already there with the model. It's just kind of like accentuating what I had already done. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Right. But yeah, that's another thing too, is that you can modify the peg. Like if you, for example, if this is the peg, right? This is the peg. You kind of slice off just a little bit like this, and that actually helps. That helps it. Enhanced it. Yeah. Just like kind of help to enhance it. Which I think is the strat. And then, you know, at a later point, maybe we can try using this stuff for like a bigger project, maybe a Machine and Krieger model or something like that. I think that might be interesting. 45-degree cut, yes. So now we're just kind of looking at the at some of these spots, and we're adding a bit more of a thicker application where the rust is kind of originating from. And maybe we won't go in too much to disperse this layer. Maybe we'll kind of leave it as is, just to act as like a bit more of a, yeah, where that rust is originating from. I do have a folder of rust and stuff like weathered vehicles, weathered cars, construction, farm equipment. I like looking at stuff like that, and We have a train yard, a train museum close to where I live, and I took a lot of pictures there of rusty trains. You kind of have to take an interest in stuff like that if you're in the pursuit of realism, if you're in the pursuit of like further accuracy of your models. You need to be a student of Rust and look all around you for things to study and reference. There's always something. There's always something that you can find in real life. And let's go. Let's try and just apply some of this with a sponge. See what we get. This creates a more randomized effect. And again, you want to use it sparingly. And you can kind of build it up later over time. But also, as I said, I don't want to do too much to what compared to what I've already done. There's, because I'm quite happy with the look of this thing already, but I figured it's a good place to experiment with this Rust stuff. And I have to say, I'm very happy with it. I feel like the Verdigris was the one that was like more obviously, like it was like shocking what was happening real time. I slapped that stuff on, and almost immediately it started to create that Verdigris effect with a lot of variation in the tones and everything. And I was like, shoot, that is wild. It's something you notice with pros. They know their research, yeah. I slap stuff on and go, why not? Be firm, yeah. Yeah. So there's a gray part enclosed by two white parts, and the gray has a profile where the whites clicked into each other, bending the whites together. Where the new part applied did the trick, also just pushing a little more. Yeah, just a little more. Sometimes it's a kind of nervous, like I get a little nervous about having to apply more force, but sometimes that's the trick. Sometimes that's the trick. Okay, last thing. I'm just kind of playing around now. Clearly, I'm having a fair amount of fun. But let's apply a bit more heavy. Again, the face, kind of want to leave the face. Maybe like, one thing is that even though I was saying how I want to keep like some areas very much preserved, but also like it's kind of realistic to just have one area where there's like a lot more buildup, so let's try that. And yeah, you can keep on going, as I said. I don't want to just keep doing this, although I could, right? It's quite fun. Eddie! 2 newborn babies! 19 months! Oh my gosh. What are you gonna do? Eddie, what are we gonna do? Can we afford? In this economy? Can we afford it? How you doing, Eddie? Nice to see you here. We're just practicing some effects paints right now. Previously I had been using the moss, and I last year, towards the end of the year, I received some of the Verdigris and the Rust, so we're trying out the Rust now. Yeah, how you doing? And thanks for that sub. My gosh, you guys are all so kind. Thank you so much for that. Please enjoy your farm-to-table, locally sourced, cruelty-free emotes and your ad-free experience. Still gotta make some more emotes, guys. I gotta create more value for you subba-dubbas. I've got a couple of them on the go. Gotta get cracking on it. I have to extend the value. Give you guys, maximize your value. Work. Extra project. Eddie. There's a lot of projects going on. Busiest man in Hollywood. Eddie Spaghetti. Here, let's do a shout out. Let's do a shout out for our pal Eddie. Cosplay as a kit. So your friend is a cosplayer, and then you're gonna make it a kit too? Is this what I'm understanding? Shout out to Eddie, busiest man in Las Vegas. Busy, busy, busy. But super creative and always fun on his stream. Please tune in. Please check it out. Him out. So there we are. There's the Dirty Down rust effects applied to this Haro, which was already rusted. So it's already rusty and crusty, and we've just kind of accentuated the rust even more so using Dirty Down. Really like what's happening here. It's on your IG story. Okay, I'm going to check it out. We're going to take a break, Rooney. Yeah, so over here, pretty happy with the rust that's happening here. That looks quite nice. I feel like we could go even more so here. That's the thing about this stuff. It's pretty easy to use. You just have to kind of be careful not to overdo it. But yeah, pretty happy with the results on this baby. So yeah, we're going to do something. We're going to, definitely has a good effect. Yeah, we're going to use this for a Gunpla project. I haven't really decided what project I'm going to use it for. But I mean, very nice. Looking mighty rusty. Looks so dope. Yeah. So once again, that's Rust, Dirty Down Rust. And the distributor of them is Goblinshut in North America, but the manufacturer is Dirty Down, if I'm not mistaken. And pretty neat stuff. We're going to experiment with this more. We're going to use it more. This was a good subject to experiment with because it was already in that state. Seen better days, this Haro. This Haro has seen better days. Oh, and Eddie, you just came through, so I can show you. You might remember this chap, but I applied the verdigris to the brass and bronze parts. For example, if you look here, if you look right here, very nice. A lot of nice sort of variation and mixing going on here with the verdigris. Very cool. So that's another interesting thing to experiment with. Although that being said, in the world of Gundam, I'm not sure where I would use the verdigris, but I mean, you could come up with something. The world is your oyster. Gunpla is freedom.